Hey, it's Miss Council, and we are live again. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone has had a wonderful day, that you got a little food in you, and that you're ready to chat with me again tonight. So let's just give everybody a moment to join us so that we can talk about another topic. Hey, big brother, I see you're on. That's how you became the top fan. Always ready. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, sis. I see your face just popped up. Thank you for joining. What y'all cooking for dinner tonight? Who cooked? All right. Yes, indeed. By this time of evening, we should have already cooked and eaten, right? I think. I know I do. Before I sit down for our fireside chat, right? Rocky said he supervised. Terry for the win. Everybody needs a little management, right? Don't let me start anything. Thank y'all so much for faithfully joining me every Monday and Thursday night right here on Facebook, live at 8 p.m. Eastern, where tonight we'll be talking about setting boundaries. I always say it's a touchy topic, but it's a needed topic. So last time we talked about, I normally have my notes right here. I talked about I could do bad by myself. I don't need no help to starve to death. No, but how to deal with negative people. And so if you're interested in knowing more about that video, if you missed it, know that I keep all of my videos right here on Facebook. I save them so that you can go back and view them. Thank you all so much for your viewership. Last week was a big week. I had my launch party, launching my new brand, my Miss Council brand, and also my website. Please go and check out the website, which is MissCouncilKnows.com. And on that website, you can find out how to contact me, how to work with me, to purchase the book, the ebook. And to just keep up with whatever I have going on. Y'all know when outside reopens, we'll have to have some in-person relationship panels. We've got some mix and mingles that we're planning to do for some singles. So make sure that you go and check out my new website. And shout out to Jay Colley for putting it all together. But let's go ahead and get started. Y'all know who I am, but for those of you who don't, I'm Miss Council, and I am a relationship and life coach, and I help divorced women get their lives back after a divorce, and remarried women go on to have successful marriages. Well, you know that I always have a topic that we have to get into, and so today we're going to be talking about setting boundaries. You get what you tolerate. Y'all saw it. I always catch you up with with the title, but I always have some good nuggets of wisdom. So get your papers and your pen ready. It doesn't matter. You got a dry erase marker, writing on the back of a receipt, whatever you got, it works. Be ready to take notes. So let's talk about it. You get what you tolerate. To tolerate means to allow the existence, occurrence, or practice of something that one does not necessarily like or agree with without interference. Or it means to accept or endure. That's what Miriam says. So let's dig a little deeper into that. You don't have to accept what's given to you. And I know I've mentioned that before. But I think that when we get in relationships, or we want a relationship, we desire a relationship, we kind of feel like we have to just kind of go with the flow, or whatever that person has going on, we have to get with it, get with the program. But sometimes I think we're so concerned with staying together that we don't concern ourselves with actually being happy. Accepting what accepting what's given to you is a way, when we don't ask for what we expect to get out of the relationship or what it is that we want in the relationship. So if that person's not what you want in a situationship, they certainly won't be what you want in a spouse or in a long-term relationship. Let that sink in a little bit. Stop just accepting whatever from people. I'm serious, y'all. You got to get some business about yourself and let people know what you expect. I know that sounds like real big and bold, but listen, I haven't always been this way. I can't tell you about it if I haven't been through it, right? So it was me. I did it. I was just accepting whatever was given to me. Here I am. I was divorced, single, raising a kid on my own, had gotten my own, had straightened out my credit, done all of these things, but I was just accepting whatever. I wasn't really expecting much. And so whatever I was given, it's kind of like when you were kids, whatever is put on the plate in front of you, you eat it. Keith knows what I'm talking about. You eat what's given to you, right? You don't ask, you don't say, hey, I want something else. You eat what's in front of you, right? But that's kind of how we are with relationships. We just accept whatever's given to us. Oh well. And then it becomes one of those, well at least he has a job. Or at least he's taking care of his kids. Or at least she got all her teeth. you know, or whatever. And we become accustomed to just accepting whatever is given to us. I say, just stop just accepting it. You're getting treated the way you do because you allow it. I said it. One more time for the people in the back. You're getting treated the way you do because you allow it. Let you know. That's right, sis. Settling. That's what it really is. Essentially, that's what it is. You're settling. Now let's talk about the second part of that definition of tolerate. To accept, we've talked about acceptance, but let's also talk about the endure part of it. What does it mean to endure? Well, according to Miriam, endure means to suffer something painful or difficult patiently. Can you really be patient while you're suffering? That's my question. Can you? I mean, think about a time where you were suffering. Like, were you in pain? Suffering. I don't know about you, but pain makes me wince. I'm moving around a lot, trying to find comfort. I got a heating pad, might be taking some ibuprofen, whatever it is. But how do you act when you're suffering at the hands of others? We're talking about enduring, right? Or when you're suffering at the hands of another person, do you just be very understanding and of the position they put you in? You smile and you show acceptance and you pat them on the back and you say, you know what? Let's just keep going. It's okay. Seriously. No lie. You get what you tolerate. Think about it. If you allow your kids to just lay around the house all day, they never get dressed, they never clean up, they're not going to do anything, right? If you just allow them to do it, they're not going to do anything. Now, I'm not comparing our mates to kids, but if you never say anything to them, they won't see a need to help out, will they? Around the house? Anybody know any children like that? I do. Y'all ain't got to say amen, just wink. Just wink one time. Well, a relationship is the same type of concept. I am comparing it that way. If you don't share any expectations, you can't expect them to read your mind. Your mate will probably think you don't have none. It's like, oh, okay, he's good. He's good with whatever I'm putting out. She's good with whatever I do. If you never complain, if they keep on burning your toast, if you don't ever say that, you just eat it and like and fake smiling, that means that they'll start thinking that you like your toast burnt. So if you want to keep getting, charred meals, keep on smiling through things. You get what you tolerate. I'm just saying. So let's explore some things that we're tolerating in relationships. What's something? Let's talk about it. You know, I like the feedback from my audience. I love to hear from you. I love the interaction. What are some of the things we tolerate in relationships? You know, I said, the bird food. Things we don't say anything about that we just accept it and we kind of move on. What are some of those things? Drop them in the comments. I'm going to give you a minute because I know that it may be a little bit of delay. You got to think about it a little bit. Got to think about it a little bit. I see that baby brother, you're on. McLeods, I see you're on. Jay Carly up in the house. Y'all make sure that you go and check out my website, misscounselknows.com. It's the business. If you wanna know what I'm up to, what I'm working on, know a little bit more about me, click on that website. If you want to know how to work with me, connect with me, click on that. All right, so we've got some comments. All right, baby brother Rodney, he's in there. Laziness, can't cook, don't clean. Well, wait a minute. How do you change that if they can't cook now? They're not going to become Betty Crocker overnight. All right, they said only good for the bedroom, not trustworthy. All right, I see some hearts popping up. Okay, those are some good ones. All right, I see y'all are with me tonight. Too many people. Y'all know I always got thoughts on it. I ask questions because I want to know what your thoughts are and what kind of feedback you have. But I thought about this. And I believe that too many people, all of those things are definitely relevant. And there are things that, we just kind of put up with in relationship. But I think that there's too many people who have one foot in and one foot out of the relationship. Now, I want you to imagine, how you prop the door open with your foot. Keep that in mind. I just want you to keep that in mind. I need you to have a visual with me tonight. One foot in and one foot out of the relationship. That's because they want the convenience and the benefits of a relationship, but they don't want to put the effort in, the effort into the relationship so that you're setting a foundation, the foundation for a successful relationship, because they got one foot in, propping the door open, and one foot out. That one foot out that you have is the one you use to step out on your relationship. Or that's the one you're using to exit the relationship. That one foot in and that one foot out. Like I said, I need y'all to have that visual. Propping the door open. The problem with that is that the person who is not all in on the relationship, they may not be communicating that with their mate. He or she may feel like everything's all good when it's not. Again, they standing at the door with one foot in the relationship and one foot out of it. You know anybody like that? Y'all could just hit the like or the heart. It doesn't matter, whichever one you favor. Anybody like that? One foot in and one foot out of the relationship? They don't really want to be with that person because they either have said the words to their friends or family, or their actions show that they don't feel the same way as that other person. It's a one-sided relationship. We always know somebody, right? It's a one-sided relationship where there's one foot in and one foot out of that relationship. For those who may have been or may be in a relationship with that potential runaway mate, I'm calling them the runaway mate with that one foot in, one foot out. You see those signs, or you have seen those signs. They're distant. They had those one-word answers. Yeah. They don't really want to talk to you. Don't show interest in the same things anymore. They don't show interest in you. That's because they're just not that into you. When you realize that you're the only one making the phone call, making the effort, texting. I'm just saying. People like that. Or it might be you. If you scratching your head, it might be you. You got to admit it to yourself. You got to work through it for yourself so you can go and be great in a relationship. Let's see. Terry says, foundation of a relationship is important. The foundation should be God and Jesus. I would add on to that, but she said it. There you go. Well, when you have all of these things going on and you're just accepting what's given to you. You know what you have to do, right? Y'all know I'm gonna tell you that's a rhetorical question. You got to set some boundaries. And I know. Here I go again with my list. What do you really want in a relationship? You got to know. When you go to the grocery store and you don't have a list written down, what do? You wander up and down the aisles. You spot something that looks good. It's like, oh, okay, they have crab legs on sale. Let me get 3 pounds of crab legs. Did you really need those 3 pounds of crab legs? No, but you wanted them because you saw them. You wander around with really no plan, and anything you see may look good to you, and you put it in your cart. But the problem is that you don't end up buying the things that you really need. So of course I'm talking about a relationship, but you're kind of wandering aimlessly because you have not gone in with a plan. You don't have a list. You don't know what you're going to do. And you know what? You're going to end up overspending. But, back to the relationship is having a list, even if that list is right here in your head, knowing what it is that you want in a mate. Because when you see it, and you'll know it, and you're able to also weed out what it is that you don't want. You get to choose. Ladies, you get to choose. Men, y'all know y'all get to choose what you want in a mate. And I think that men do a good job of, you know, choosing. Hey, they know what it is that they want, and they zero in on it and they go after it to get it, right? But I think women, we sometimes feel like, well, the ratio I've heard in Atlanta, the ratio I've heard so many different things, so I won't throw out a number, but one man to like 2 dozen women or something like that. Again, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm sure they shift, but regardless, they have to be eligible bachelors. So anybody married or committed to someone else, they don't count. But it's okay to ask for what it is that you want. And it's also okay to say, you know what? I want to date that type of person. But you have to be able to know what it is that you want before you're going to go in and commit to something. Hey, when you want to cut your hair, you know what you want it to look like. You've done all of this research. When you want to color it, you go in and you look up, what the colors are, what are the brands, does it match your eye color, the face shape when you want to cut your hair. But it's amazing to me how much research people would do on other things, but not allow themselves to really understand what it is that they wanted to make. I mean, can you really research it? Yeah, there are lists out there, but you got to know for yourself what's going to make you, what's going to do it for you when it comes down to a relationship. What do you need in the relationship? Setting boundaries. That's what we're talking about. Because if not, you're just going to get some whatever. And I'm saying stop accepting whatever. And that whatever is a blank. You fill in the blank. Stop accepting whatever from people. That's what I'm saying. When you're setting boundaries, you can ask a person to not be disrespectful. But then they do it anyway. So you have to be prepared to execute that consequence. Now, I'm not trying to say give people ultimatums, but when you're sharing with the person, like, these are my boundaries, these are my non negotiables, they have to also understand that you don't intend on maintaining a relationship with somebody who won't respect your boundaries and your non negotiables. Listen, y'all heard me say before, I'm allergic to almonds and walnuts. I cannot accept a plate of food that has those on those because that's going to be detrimental. You know, using the EpiPen means I have to go to the hospital. So why put myself in that situation? I'm going to ask questions. Hey, are those, does that brownie sundae, does it come with walnuts? Probably does, right? If I'm looking at the pictures, I'm reading the description. Even if I don't see it in the description, I'll ask because it happens sometimes. So there's nothing wrong with asking for what it is that you want and saying, that's a non-negotiable for me. Don't put almonds and walnuts on things because I can't eat them. And I know we're talking about food, but I'm talking about asking for what it is that you want. And when that plate comes, looking at it and making sure there's not an almond sitting up under your green bean. So when you ask for what you want, making sure that you're getting it. when you meet people, I'm saying that you need to have conversations. You need to have conversations about what it is that you want. You have a conversation. Hey, do you want to get married one day? Do you want to have more children, or do you want to have children one day? You know, hey, that's a good time to have those conversations. When you bring stuff up like that, that doesn't mean that you're talking about the longevity of the relationship, but it's trying to save yourself some time and some heartache and some headache. Once I really realized that I needed to set some boundaries, it changed the game for me. I was out here winning. Now I ain't saying winning like I I found Mr. Right at that point in time, but I stopped having the stress of dating. It really kind of took the pressure off. If you remember a few videos back, I was talking about a movie I watched where they talked about having an automatic out. Kind of gave myself I gave myself an automatic out and was like, yeah, hey, bro, this ain't working. But being able to really open my mouth up, even in the early conversation phase, I was telling people, look, I don't want to waste your time. I can already see it that the two of us not gonna work. So, I want to be respectful. Don't want to further engage. I mean, you're gonna have to pull up your big girl panties and be okay with walking away from what could be based on what you already see. If it ain't good, it won't get any better. Let me run that back. You got to be okay with walking away from what could be based on what you already see. If it ain't good, it won't be any better. I'm just saying. I'll tell you what I know. You're never going to get away from the need to communicate in a relationship. I'm always going to continue to suggest that you've got to communicate even before you want to call it a relationship. Communicating is when you're talking, when you're getting to know people, and they don't leave it to them to bring it up. Say, you know what, hey, let's talk about non-negotiables. If they're like, what is that? Explain it to them what it is. But you've also got to know what your non-negotiables are. You've got to know and be able to talk about it, and also be able to explain, give examples of. And giving examples doesn't necessarily mean that you want to run back your old relationships and my ex did this and my ex did that. You can explain what it is that you don't like. That's your non-negotiables without bringing up anybody else other than you, is what I'm saying. But you've got to be able to communicate that from the door, from the gate, from the giddy up. In the talking phase, you got to make your request known. Closed mouths don't get fed. But you also got to be prepared to receive the same in return. That other person's going to have their own boundaries, and they're going to expect that you will respect them as well. So, again, giving and receiving, you have to respect others as well, because they're going to have some. And even if they didn't have any, when you opened your mouth to say, listen, I have these non-negotiables, you don't have to give it to them in a list, but make it conversational. Like, let's talk. There's some things that I have some limitations and exclusions, is what I like to call them, like it's a policy. I have some limitation and exclusions here. But share. The more you talk, the more you learn about a person, because you're not going to learn by just looking at them. And all things that glitter ain't gold. They aren't good for you. So you've got to open up that package and see what's on the inside. It made me think about, I wanted a watermelon so bad all summer long. I'm like, I want a watermelon. And I finally just gave up, because like by the time I got to the third watermelon, it looked okay, but it wasn't sweet. But that first watermelon I cracked open, I mean, I picked it, I knocked on it. It had the yellow part at the bottom. It was oblong. I picked a watermelon with seeds in it because that's what I grew up on. Cut it open and it didn't look right. It didn't look right. And I just kept looking at it. It was very stringy, had a bunch of seeds clumped in one area. And it was kind of orangish, pinkish. Didn't look right. But it's funny because I kept looking at it. Outside it looked good. I tasted a little piece and I was like, I don't know. So I took some pictures and sent it to my mama. And I was like, hey, does this look right to you? Asked my husband, like, hey, does this look right to you? But it looked just like any other watermelon. But when I cracked it open, it wasn't. And so my mama said, throw that away. That won't be the first $5 you ever threw away. So that was good advice. So I'm not saying throw away a person, but I'm saying exit stage left. Return all tray tables to their up and chairs to the upright position and get off the plane, get off the bus. You know, you're going to have to dig deeper, get to know people, get to know them. You know, I always say go through a few seasons. I mean, literally flip the calendar, go through a couple of seasons, but go through some seasons in their lives. Every day ain't gonna be rainbows and bubble gum. No, there's no one who has great days all the time. But as you see them go through things in life, you know, they may not be going through hard times or financially hard times because, you know, people get to a certain point in their life, they got it, they figured it out. But they may go through different things when they go through grief or they go through job loss or they go through disappointment in different ways in their lives. Be observant. Be there for them, but pay attention. If they over here throwing tantrums and they 40 something years old, or hey, I'm not saying there's an age limit on tantrums, but there is. I ain't saying, but I'm saying. But pay attention to how people are handling things, because if you want to be in a long-term relationship with them, when things don't go their way, how do they act? That's what I'm saying. Pay attention. Look closely. I think I did a video about that. Look closely. Um, Listen carefully. Choose wisely. All those things. But pay attention. Listen, y'all know how I love quotes. And so I found this quote that I thought was so appropriate for tonight's topic about setting boundaries and getting what you get what you tolerate. If someone is rude or disrespectful towards you, politely excuse yourself and walk away. It's actually a powerful statement. It sends a clear message to the other person what they've said or done is unacceptable and that you won't tolerate it. Now, I don't know who wrote it, but it sounds good. The thing that I like the most about it is politely excuse yourself and walk away. The best thing you can show somebody is the back of your head leaving. Like, bye. Don't even say nothing. But you've already said everything that you needed to say, but set some boundaries, and don't just tolerate whatever is given to you. So I have to leave you with some tips. This is where y'all gotta write it down. Write it down. Tips on how to set boundaries. First of all, you gotta know what you want. That's the first thing, because how you gonna set something that you don't know? So you gotta know what it is that you want first and foremost. And you've got to identify those non-negotiables. What are your boundaries? What are your non-negotiables? Identify what those are. And you've got to share those boundaries and non-negotiables with your mate or your potential mate. Don't expect anybody to be a mind reader. I think I say this in every video. Don't expect them to read your mind and just kind of know, well, he know how I feel, or she know what I mean. She saw it in my face. Don't expect that. Another tip on how to set boundaries is take time for yourself. I think that people spend too much time and too much effort, put too much time and too much effort into the relationship and never allow themselves some time to take a step back and evaluate their happiness. Because remember, I always say that happiness comes from you, within you. It doesn't come to you. My next tip is stand firm on all the above. Everything that I just listed, stand firm. Remember, I said earlier, you got to be prepared to walk away. Stand firm. Don't settle, as Terry said earlier today. And then the last thing is knowing it's time to let go. Hey, I had to throw that watermelon in the trash. It hurt me to do it because I don't like throwing away food. But that was not the first $5 I ever threw away. That was that good old advice. Well, we've come to a close, and you know that I love spending time with y'all. I love our interactions, And I appreciate you all being here with me. Please go and check out my group, support group on Facebook for divorced and remarried women. It is called Divorced Like Us. You will have to answer two very quick questions. It is for only for women, divorced and remarried women. So, man, I'm sorry, this is not your group. Please also check out MissCounselKnows.com. That's my website. You'll find out how to purchase my book in the ebook or the paperback form, and you'll also be able to find out how to work with me and how to keep up with me and whatever I'm up to. You never know. Like I say, when the outside reopens, I'll be everywhere. But thank you again so much for joining. Y'all know I'm Miss Counsel, and Miss Counsel knows a little bit about everything. I ain't telling you what I heard, but I'm telling you what I know. Y'all be blessed, and you have a good night. See you next week.